Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of 1000 Lies. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because that would mean the whole world to me. And if you like this video, hit that like button as well. Alright, let's jump in. Guilty here. Neither Aussie nor I have really been very lucky yet. If we play this round and lose, we'll be totally obliterated. Oh my goodness. For some reason, it just wasn't going. Let's add a new clause to the bet. Boys against girls, but we won't take Deniz into the equation since he's already folded. Go big or go home. If one of us wins, you two will be eliminated and you both have to endure the punishment. On the contrary, if one of you manages to win, the three of us will be eliminated and we'll have to jump into the pool. What do you say? Aussie slams his fist against the table. He's probably having a seizure from whatever might or may be happening in his imagination. The bet is tempting, especially if we consider the possibility of turning the tables on the game when we're currently losing, but it won't be a walk in the park. If the three of them have wagered, then it must mean that they all have really good cards. Also, we're 2 against 3, so we're at a disadvantage via probability. We accept. We accept the bet. Both Sierra and I'll play with everything we've got. Hey, don't just accept like that. Are you crazy? Come on, Panero. I have faith in the both of us. When are we going to have a chance like this again? I facepalm and sigh. The girls, however, seem happy when they see my reaction. Victory must be in their hands, and if that wasn't enough, there's no going back since Aussie has already agreed to their terms. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's all in the hands of Lady Luck now. Or at least, that's what I want them to think. If everything's clear, then you can start any time, Lucy. After all of us have agreed to your terms. You must have some really good cards if you started all of this. Lucy smirks, confidently gesturing as she answers. You're right, my friend. Have at you. Ta-da! Lucy swells with pride, chuckling as she reveals her hand to us. Full house! 2 queens and 3 sevens. Is that a lot? Of course it is. It should be obvious at first sight. I'm glad that you're on our team, Lucy. Otherwise, I'd be pulling my hair out right now. Oh, I know of 2 guys who must be about to do that. Isn't that right? Lucy looks at me, but I put on my poker face, trying not to give her any hints about my hand. Aussie, on the other hand, wears the face of an unshakable beast. I can almost see the fire in his eyes burning off the clothes that stand between him and his biggest dream. We both know that this game is far from over, not until all of the cards have been revealed. Well. You're next, Ziva. What do you have? I would love to say that I have good cards, but it's just a straight. Hey, isn't that rare? Why is it just a straight? I'd agree with you otherwise, but a full house is in play. It's useless. Seriously? Is a full house that great? There's only 2 card combinations that could beat a full house. Well, the best combination is usually divided into royal and non-royal versions, but they're so hard to get that you probably won't see them. Boo! Why the long face, Claire? It's nothing. My cards are. Oh yeah, show us your hand. Come on. Mine aren't really that great after what you've shown. I should have bet everything I had on this hand. Go on. It doesn't matter. We're only playing for fun. Remember, we're a team, and as long as one of us wins, it's enough. If you say so, here we go. They're small numbers, but I hope they still have some value. What's wrong? What's with that face? That's 4 of a kind. 4 6s. Is it that bad? Say something already. Bad? There's 4 of every number and she got 4 6 cards. What do you think? Do you remember when I told you that only 2 combinations are better than a full house? This is one of them. 4 of a kind. It's basically a guaranteed win situation. Seriously? I thought it was worse than your cards because I only used 4 cards while you used 5. But if it was good, then that's great. I know I'm the one who said that we're a team, but for some reason, I don't like this result. At least we won, and that means that... Huh! Ha 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 ha! Aussie starts dramatically slapping the table and laughing like a villain. What's wrong with him now? Is he choking? I told you that corn nuts are too hard. Now that guy's dying and it's all our faults. Maybe he's laughing to try not to cry since he lost. I'd say that he lost his mind. Keep anything sharp that he can reach away from him. Aussie finally calms down. He makes a gesture to signal us to let him speak, but it takes a few more moments until he can finally talk. Is that all you've got? Because that can only mean one thing. The boys' team is the winner. The other side of the table looks at Aussie, shocked. What the hell? Even I give him the same look. He hadn't picked up a penny, but it seems that even the biggest idiot can be lucky from time to time. All right, girls, drop the chips in your clothes because this is over. Tonight we'll have some fresh breasts for dinner. Sweep! I win! Ouch! Why are you smacking me, Campanero? Stop it! Can somebody explain what a sweep is? It's from a completely different game. I see. Don't come over here to smack me too, Denise! Ugh! There's one person who hasn't shown their cards. Endian, your hand? Will you tell us what you have, or would you prefer to give up? I take my time as if I'm not really sure what I should say, then place my cards in a small pile face down on the table and keep my index finger on top of them. I don't really know. How about we find out? I drag the first card towards me with my finger, and when it's at the end of the table, I press it against the other side with my thumb. Then, with a quick wrist movement, I flip it over and put it on the middle of the table for everyone to see. The 10 of spades! Nice! And what's next? If you keep revealing your cards at this speed, we're going to die of boredom. I ask for silence by placing my index finger over my lips. I've already said that I don't know what will come of this, but let's have some patience and see what's next after that lone 10 of spades. My finger moves from my lips back to the pile, mimicking the gesture I made before to reveal the next card. Jack of spades! I don't get it, is that useful? Claire and Denise seem to have no idea what's coming. Lucy and Ziva, however, gulp loudly, realizing that what those two cards must signify. Oh, of course, Sierra. This round you... Aussie finally realizes it. He has played poker with me before, so he should remember what I'm about to do. But enough talking. Silence is golden. How about I just show them all my next card? No, you're kidding, it can't be! Hey, what's wrong? Why the commotion? Diz, do you remember how I told you that there are only 2 combinations more valuable than a full house? One of those is 4 of a kind. The other is a straight flush. A straight, but all the cards share the same suit. There are 2 versions. The normal one that's just a straight flush, and the royal one that goes from 10 to ace. But it's almost impossible to get. A lot of people don't get one in their entire lives. It's impossible that you got one. Impossible? No, but it's true that the odds are less than 4 in 2.5 million. A truly ridiculous number. You would have to have a real miracle to get a card combination like that. Good thing I've never believed in them. Now it's a king! If the next card is an ace, then... I love you, Campanera. I knew I could trust you. I just knew it. I didn't want to agree to this. I told you so. It would have been better to play it safe. You must be cheating. This isn't possible. This was all part of your plan. You manipulated me into changing the wager, knowing that you were about to win the round. In fact, you You dealt the cards this round. If all of us had suddenly gotten good cards, it was so that... Does it matter, Lucy? I finally speak after being silent the entire time, and everyone listens to me carefully. Do you have any proof that I cheated with or while dealing out the cards or anything like that? I fear not. So complaining about cheating after the bet is settled is quite impolite, even coming from you. Did I complain when you were winning during all the previous rounds, thanks to your illegal girls' alliance? Lucy bites her lip, now knowing that she can't say anything about the situation. All right, let's see that ace of spades and end all of this. This time, it's not my index finger, but my entire palm that covers the final card sitting on the table. I slowly drag it towards me until my thumb can grab it, ready to turn it over. When it comes to bets, I always take them seriously. Only a fool would leave their destiny in the hands of Lady Luck. I bet you anything it's not. It's not the card that everybody's thinking. Game over. Behold my final card. Blue Eyes White Capata. What? And here's my and here's my dentistry business card. Cool, huh? Campanero, what the fuck? Pressure gets the best of me, and it's always when it matters that I mess up. Why do you think I never go to casinos to get rich? I'm sorry, please don't be mad. Mad? I would never do that to you, buddy. I'm gonna kill you. Where's my fan service? Look who's talking, Mr. Sweep. I gave you the cards for a flush. Which cards did you discard? I'm sure it was because of that my cards got messed up. We'll see who's going to flush who. Come at me, bro. Give me your best shot, dolt. And now they fight. Maybe Claire wasn't so far off when she said that thing about the mafia. I could totally see the birthday boy going bankrupt from gambling too. It's not like that's how it always ends. It's just part of the clandestine poker experience. I find it fascinating, especially considering that I won. Yes, Claire, yes, you did win. It's unnecessary for you to keep rubbing it in our faces, and nobody is going to win if those two get hurt. Diz, stop them or something. I don't want to get involved. Diz? Deniz takes one of the cards off the table and looks at it, giggling while lost in thought. He puts it back where he found it and replies to Ziva. Sorry, what'd you say? What did you look at? Can't you see those two can't you see what those two are doing? Nothing. On my way. I still don't really get poker's rules, but I think that I understand it a bit better now. If you say so. Deniz manages to stop us with the most effective method there is to suppress two aggressive men. 2 good smacks on the head. Ouch! Okay, I've got it. We'll stop. Hey ladies, do you remember something about a bet we might have made where the 2 losers have to do something? I can't seem to remember what it was. Can either of you? Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Something about swimsuits, maybe, and something else, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's something related to the outdoor pool, but with the storm, no one sane would agree to that, since they could end up totally soaked and freezing. No one, huh? I didn't bring a swimsuit anyway, so we'll have to leave it for another day. A pity, truly a pity. Time to dip! But the swimsuit! You could borrow one from Aussie, don't worry about it. Do I have to wear one of his? You could always shoot me instead so that I don't have to suffer. The girls, no longer open to any negotiations, push us around the house until we reach Aussie's room. Don't take too long, we're waiting! I could hear the laughter and the taunting coming from the other side of the door, but the worst part comes when Aussie shows me the kinds of swimsuits he has. They're all Speedos! Speedos! What did you expect? These are the best swimwear to show off with at the beach. Leave shorts and trunks for the old fisherman. But this is too tight. Would James Bond go on a mission without his gun? You must be ready to pull out your gun at any moment. I could tell you several missions where James Bond didn't. Don't take your pants off without warning, what the hell? Campanero, please. I have such a gorgeous body. Witness the remarkable beauty of my muscles. The following events have been censored for the well-being of sensible minds. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm here, shivering and soaked, and you give the only towel we have to Lucy. Well, I could die from the cold? You're trying to kill me, or what? You're the one who splashed me you're the one who splashed me out there, so it's your fault. But it was you who pushed me into the pool. It only splashed like a few drops of water on you, and now I'm... Stop being such a wimp. We pushed Aussie in there too, and he's not complaining. Breasts, I can see them on the other side of the light. I think Aussie is suffering from an afterlife revelation right now, so he doesn't count. Also, his average body temperature could melt the Arctic Circle. He doesn't need any help with warming up. Campanero, my time has come. Forgive me for what happened before. At least from now on, you won't have to live in the shadow of my beauty and appeal. I hope you'll remember me forever. Let's just say that you were amusing. Sometimes. Can't you do anything without making it dramatic? It's only water, for the love of God. Come on, Lucy, give a towel to those two poor losers. I expectantly take the towel from Lucy's hands, the way you'd expect to on your own birthday, with total disdain. I get dry as soon as possible, but when I bend over to dry off my legs, I can feel someone's shadow, cowering over me, their eyes silently staring at me. Hey, Sierran, you alright? I don't understand Claire's question, especially considering that she was one of the most excited about pushing me into the pool, despite her usual shyness. I thought that she might be feeling regretful, but Lucy suddenly joins her, so it's nearly confirmed that it's not about remorse. It's true, I didn't notice it. What's that? I follow their gazes until I reach my right leg, discovering the reason for their astonishment. I guess it's inevitable to find out after all. Anybody would be taken aback after noticing the long white scar that goes from my calf to my ankle, then finally to my knee. This? It's an old battle scar from an accident I had while fighting in Vietnam. Nothing to worry about. We all have our brutal moments from time to time, right? The girls respond with skepticism and the desire to know more about how I managed to get such a wound. But does it hurt? I didn't know you had such a big scar. I lower my chin and my lips break into a smile. No, Lucy, it doesn't hurt. From time to time it may, but it's nothing for you to worry about. Are you sure about that, Sierran? Claire's response is distrustful. Everyone could feel the curiosity from those two girls filling the atmosphere. I don't need to come up with any more excuses, though, since Deniz does it for me. If he says it's nothing, then it's nothing. Don't be so persistent. Let me guess, you want to finish up here so that we get back to the grub, right? I won't deny that. But on the other hand, I think that it's a bad idea to worry so much about something that may or may not have happened due to a random incident. Let bygones be bygones, isn't that right, Seer? Well, is the party still on or what? This is supposed to be a birthday celebration. And I must remind all of you that it's for me, although I've been stuck in the Speedo for a while. The idea was for you to stay like that all day, Endian. What? Don't look at me like that. I was joking. Go change it to something decent. We'll wait here for you. Afterwards, once I've recovered my pants and my dignity, two key elements that usually go together, I return to the main hallway. There's another surprise awaiting me there. Something essential to every birthday party. Presents. Everything starts out really promising. I'm sitting in front of a good amount of boxes and envelopes with all the guests' best wishes. But little by little, I find out how their best wishes may not really be all that generous. A used box of tissue, a rancid grapefruit, a pen with no ink, some expired coupons, and a dirty magazine. I mean, they're all mostly memorable presents, but not for the right reasons. What's your problem with my magazine? I could think of millions, but let's start with the basics. Why did you have to put a ribbon right there? Because there is where it matters, Sierra. I can't accept a dirty magazine like this one as a present. Why not? It's one of my favorites. I've had it for so many years. That's precisely the biggest issue. Okay, but seriously, is this a joke? Maybe. We just wanted to tease you a little for sure. But this is a real present, I promise. Lucy brings out a simple, light brown cardboard box. It really isn't very promising at first sight. I open it, expecting nothing good, and even when they've still somehow managed to disappoint me. And even then. Empty? Seriously? Since you were so happy on the day we met, with you stalking me inside that cardboard box, I thought you'd like these things, yes? You're going to hold that against me forever, huh? I'd love to see your face if someone gave you an empty box for your birthday. Wait a second, Sierra was hiding inside of a cardboard box? When did that happen? Oh, Diz, didn't you know? The day they met, Endian was camouflaging himself inside of a cardboard box to stalk Lucy. Although I can't remember why it even happened in the first place. Unfortunately, I do, and quite well. I wanted to get back the figurine that I'd lost in the mail, and a mysterious tip hinted that Lucy was involved. I wonder whose fault that was. I stare directly at Claire, who feigns ignorance by looking the other way while curling her skirt around her fingers. Now that you've reminded me, you told me that you never got your package, right? Lucy snaps her fingers as she seems to remember something as she looks at me. My sister told me about a neighbor from the apartment building in front of ours, and you know what? It seems that not too long ago she got a package similar to the one that you told me about. What? Are you kidding me? It's no joke. At first I didn't realize it, but maybe it's the exact same one that you've been waiting for. That would be weird, but I could check. Can I speak with your neighbor? Does she still have it? Well, the situation is kind of complicated. She kept thinking it was for one of her neighbors, that it was mistakenly delivered to her address, so she hasn't opened it yet. But she's not home. She went on vacation a few days ago. Goodbye, my hope. I hardly knew ye. At least you have a hint now, and she should be back home in a couple of weeks, although I can't imagine how the package ended up getting there. You really have no luck at all. I bury my face in my hands, trying to hide my shame and my murderous intent. The last one is dedicated to a certain someone who's holding the brim of her hat and whistling, seemingly intent on staring at nothing in particular. I'm starting to believe that all of this birthday stuff was some sort of strategy to shorten my lifespan. You may want to look deep inside before talking, Endian. I bewilderedly turn my eyes towards an obliging Ziva. Deep inside? With that question in mind, I take a peek inside the box again. After pushing against the bottom of the box, something falls out, which I then pick up. It's another smaller, flatter box with a thick line drawn across its center. I open it, and inside the box I find an elegant hardcover notebook, bound with fabric. It even has a slim blue bookmark sticking out from its pages, begging for me to discover the contents hidden inside. And on that page are notes from all of the people that are by my side right now. Thanks. Thank you all. This is better than I could have imagined. Come on, keep it real. It's just a notebook. We wanted to keep it simple and make sure that it was something you'd like. We wanted something personal, something that you could use but isn't overly expensive. And since we know that you were running out of pages in your old notebook, you already know how birthday presents are. If they're too expensive, then it can become a pain when it's your turn to give. Hey, I want a proper present when my birthday comes. I'm the next one in line after all. And there's no going back. Once you accept the notebook, you can't return it. And I want my present when it's my turn. Are we clear? We will all have our chances. From now on, we'll celebrate all of our birthdays together. Isn't that right, Indian? We'll see. Don't tell me we'll see. It has already been decided. We have to keep in touch even after we've all finished school. So that you can keep experimenting on me? By the way, I'm grateful for the new notebook, but I'd like to get my old one back now too. I noticed when I changed clothes earlier that it was no longer in my pocket. What? No! Who would do something like that? You probably lost it or something. That's right. We never read your notebook without your permission. Why would you assume something like that? Look who's talking. Did you really believe that I wouldn't realize that you'd take that opportunity after forcing me to get naked? As if you'd accept playing strip poker without an ulterior motive? What are you saying? Who do you think we are? Aussie, help! Don't worry, my darling. I have everything under control. Campanero, forget about presents. Let's move on to the next event. This one's... no breasts. You've been obsessed with them all night, and it always turns out badly in the end. How can you say that? Since his birth, man has been bound to women's breasts. Any man that tries to deny that fact is... thinking about it, there could only be one reason for a man to deny the most valuable feminine feature. Don't tell me that you're gay. Maybe we should have picked up a pink color notebook. Oh my god. Thank you, Siren. Great stereotyping. He didn't deny it, Siren. Why didn't you tell us before? I'm not gay, damn it. However, you're rejecting a great pair of breasts, isn't that right? I haven't rejected. Then prove to us that you love breasts. Oh my god. Yes, prove it. How can I prove? Grope Claire's chest. Yes, grope them. No, wait, something's wrong. But what is it? No, not one of you is sane. Note, no breasts were hurt and by no means touched during the rest of the party. Ugh, children. Some might say it was singing. I'd call it deafening noise. In search of peace, I go outside, and even though it stopped raining, I wouldn't have minded getting soaked again if it meant getting away from them. I'm sorry, Ziva, but you're tone deaf. It was this or burning the karaoke. The aroma of geosmin floods my senses as soon as I enter the garden, which is now illuminated by the shining lights attached to the house and placed within the pool. There, mesmerized by the serenity of the moment, someone else walks along the white ceramic edge of the pool, her reflection carelessly showing upon the surface. She notices my presence as soon as I approach her, and she turns around surprisedly. Oh hey, it's you! Shouldn't you be inside enjoying your birthday party? When she's done speaking, her gaze once again drifts to the surface of the water. I prefer to keep my eardrums as safe and far away from Ziva's singing as possible, and I don't think it's just me. She livens up a little too much during parties and doesn't realize that her voice is beyond awful. Please understand. On the other hand, when I think about the suffering that the rest must be enduring, it's sad. Who would have guessed that you could feel pity? Knowing you, I'd say that you enjoy watching others suffer. Only you. It's so sweet to indulge. Well, aren't you just a comedian? I do try to level with my audience, but I might have crossed the line here. Lucy crouches down next to the pool and lowers her voice. I can't get an answer by looking at the I can't get an answer by looking at the contour of her hair, so I decide to get closer to her to get a good view of her face. Be honest, you're jealous. Jealous? Of who or what? You're jealous of my superior cheating at poker skills. I might have failed with the very last step, but what I did still wasn't easy. I even gave all three of you some really great hands. How can you still be so optimistic after how wrong everything went for you earlier? Do you realize that the first step to solving a problem is to admit that you have one? Let's just say that I'm having an unlucky streak, but I know what I'm doing. Winning depends on the person. There seems to be a discrepancy between your theory and reality. I'm being serious. I could give you an example, or better yet, we could make a bet on it. Don't you realize that's exactly the problem? Fine. We'll bet whatever you want. I'll win anyways. I take the deck of cards we used earlier, one out of my pockets, the deck of cards we used earlier out of one of my pockets and present it to Lucy. The game's simple. I take a card and then try to throw it above the house's roof while standing right here. If it goes above the roof, I win. If it can't reach, you win. Simple, eh? Let me see. I don't trust you yet. Lucy takes the cards from my hand, ensuring that I'm not concealing any tricks within them. Once she finishes, she checks the distance to the building. It's about 30 feet from where I stand. Considering that it's a 2-floor mansion, that's a pretty large distance to keep in mind. Before you start, I'd like to try it out myself. Do you mind if I throw some as a test? As many as you want. She holds the deck with her left hand, then lifts her right arm over her head with the first card clasped between her fingers, and using all of her strength, she tries to throw it. However, the card doesn't make it past her feet. Wait a second. I'm sure there must be a technique to it, like those guys who throw cards in hats. Lucy tries it over and over again, in every single way that she could think of. None give positive results, even when she's lucky with the win in her position. That card could actually manage to fly that distance, and height is almost impossible. They're too slim, so the moment that they bend, the wind resistance causes it to fall. In any case, Lucy doesn't really trust me at all, especially considering that I'm the one who proposed the bet, so she decides to add her own rules. I'm pretty sure that there must be crazy experts out there breaking records every day, so there must be a technique to this. The point is, even like that, I doubt you can actually do it. To be safe, I'll only give you one chance. If you miss, then you lose. No retries allowed. That was the plan from the beginning. Not so fast! I also want you to throw it from even farther away, 5 steps backwards. I'm positive that you have the distance measured. I can't make it easy for you. You don't take any chances. Okay, I'll try it. I don't walk away from my bets like a coward. You can't take it back now, you know. We haven't even established the most important thing yet either. What do I get if I win? I haven't put much thought into it, but I'd be so much as ready to wear that Speedo again. And going home wearing a Speedo? Is your cruelty limitless or what? You're the one who chose the game, so I'm the one who decides the wagers. Okay, whatever. For my prize, I just want you to tell me what's wrong. Nothing has been wrong. What makes you think that? Whoops. If there's nothing wrong, then you don't have anything to lose. Win-win, don't you think? Lucy puts one of her hands on her waist, tilting her head indecisively. Her eyes grow sharp and she decides to put the deck back in my hand without letting them go. I didn't realize that you worried about others so much. I don't. Let's just say that it's part of my evil plan. She smiles, pleased, allowing me to take back the deck of cards. I copy Lucy's previous movements, taking the deck in my left hand and holding the first card above me with my right hand. I stand as far away as she'd requested, and I used her same position to ready the card with my right arm bent behind my head, then throw the card with all my strength. The rectangular object flies up, restlessly spinning around and flies over the rooftop, making me the clear winner. It flew away like it was nothing. How did you do it? I can't tell you. It'd be less special. Come on, don't be such a schmuck. Tell me, it's not like I could learn it in one day. You must have practiced really hard to learn that. Not as much as you'd think. I could tell you, but I'll need you to admit that I won first. Okay, let's say that you won. I still can't trust you when you say things like that. Good to know, because you probably don't really want to know what I actually threw was one of these. I open one of my hands, revealing not your usual playing card, but something closer to a hard plastic card. To be exact, it's a keychain, like the ones they use in hotels. And with the magician's gesture, the card multiplies, revealing 5 in total. I always take some of these when I find them, and since they're similar in size and color, it's easy to pass them off as playing cards. While they're flying, it's impossible to see what I actually threw. Plus, these cards have the advantage of being more solid and thick. Basically, you tricked me. I'm not really sure about it being fair, but I'll accept it for now. There must be something wrong with you if you gather garbage like that all the time. You should recycle them instead of throwing them. It's not garbage if it has a use. Part of the trick is that nobody expects you to have something like these. I finally win, and now you're trying to make me look bad. Bad? No, you've got it wrong. I'm only stating the facts. It's you who are misunderstanding me. Do you remember the basketball match, for example? You told me that I probably loved that sport a lot. Well, surprise! I quit it. Lucy folds her arms, speaking in a natural tone while faking a smile. She takes her time before saying anything else, and I give her as much time as she may need, knowing that she's just honoring her part of the bet we made. She inhales and starts walking alongside the pool as she explains. After so many years of playing, I realized that something had changed. It wasn't the same as before. That's what made me lie about my injury on that day. Is skipping the training sessions, I realized something simple. I feel indifferent about basketball. It's not like I wanted to go pro, nor did I have any kind of special relationship with my team. So thinking about the huge amount of time I had dedicated to that game made the whole thing feel ridiculous. I don't think it was a waste of time. You can learn from anything, and I have some fond memories of it. But I still can't stop wondering about it. All the dreams I had in the past, and I will have in the future. Give it my best. Put in the effort. I'll do everything to reach the moment where I can say that I finally have an objective, a reason to fight and keep going. Like anyone else my age, I was questioning what my next steps will be from here on out. Nothing abnormal, nothing interesting for you to hear. Have I bored you enough yet or not? I get closer to Lucy, making us stand face to face. What are you doing? It's part of my evil plan. I place my hands on her shoulders, strongly gripping them. I could feel her breathing quicken, and my heartbeat follows with a similar tempo. Our pupils dilate, our faces grow red. I swallow nervously, then moisten my lips with the tip of my tongue. I open them once I get closer to her, and then I whisper, Vendetta. Eh? I push Lucy into the pool. I can see her surprised expression as she falls, and a smirk breaks out on my face for having finally obtained my long-awaited revenge. Not so fast! However, she manages to grab the sleeve of my shirt as she's falling, her grip sturdy enough to destabilize me, causing me to fall with her. In the end, we both fall into the pool. Oh my god! When I come up for air, I see her. Tiny water droplets dance around her silhouette, reflecting the light from the pool's underwater lights, highlighting her figure. Her soaked clothes stick to her shimmering skin, captivating me as if she's the only one currently in existence under this moonless night. My jaw drops, causing me to accidentally swallow some water until I eventually manage to ground myself so that I don't drown. She looks at me, her eyes filled with a lot of confusion. But after exchanging looks, the only thing we could do is laugh. Vendetta? Could you possibly get any stupider? Lucy splashes some water at me in a pointless attempt to look angry. Aren't you the one who's always bringing justice? There's no older law than an eye for an eye. She shakes her head in denial and brushes her hair away with her hands, clearing her face. I might have lied about that a little. Embarrassed, her lips seem to shrink. She bites her lower lip and turns to face a different direction while murmuring something. Everything's easier when accompanied by pleasant-sounding words, knowing that you're doing the right thing because it's just too convenient, right? We stand in silence, only the sound of our movements in the water interrupts it. There's a path created by friends and family that's too good not to be taken, but you get to a point where you worry so much about being on that path that you start to hide even the most harmless things from them, like me withdrawing. I don't think it was justice that I really wanted, nor even recognition, but to follow the easiest path. I just justified it with lies, and in my case, a lie I pretended was called effort. And now, I worry about whether or not I was right, and if I wasn't only taking art seriously because I wanted to escape the chance of failure, or discovering that it's not for me, just like with basketball. I don't want to look at you and have to admit my mistake in choosing this path. It wouldn't be fair after all I've made you go through, and it would also be a pity. Because I love teasing you. Lucy tilts her head, bringing one of her fingers to her chin in of her wild expressions, and always manages to make an impression on me. Her sharp eyes petrify me, leaving only the distant murmurs from the house and the small waves in the pool to accompany her indecisive, yet embarrassed expression. What I'll never know is if it's of embarrassment from her own words, or because of the transparency of her clothes. However, somehow, I feel responsible for it, and I try to continue from where she left off. You may be wrong. Nobody can be sure about their own feelings, about if what they feel is real or not. In my opinion, if you put so much effort into something only to keep it a secret, then that must mean that it matters to you, right? She gets closer to me, floating with a subtle and gentle jump, keeping our eyes on par with each other. She makes me nervous, so I try to take a step backward, now leaving me standing on only a single toe. I thought you were crazy at first, so I went with the flow because I was looking to have some distracting fun. However, you're still here. I'd like to propose something. It might be a little bit late to do it now, and selfish coming from me, but we've already kind of become associates, so I have a favor to ask of you. Lucy comes even closer, to the point that I could feel her hands brushing against me through the soft waves in the pool. I want to see how far we can get together, what we can learn about each other, what I can get from it now that I could draw with someone by my side. She's so close that I can even hear the water droplets dripping off her face, so close that I could smell the scent of her skin leaking out from her pores and into the water. Will you stay with me until the end, Sierra? Sierra? I step back again, losing the small margin that had once allowed me to breathe. Lucy looks at me perplexedly, and this time I can't give her an eloquent or sarcastic response as we'd usually do with each other. Because I'm drowning. What the? Lucy grabs me just in time and manages to pull me out of the water so that I could grab the edge of the pool and support myself. I manage to get out, lie down on the floor, and recover my stamina. What happened? Why were you suddenly drowning? Lucy stands next to me, still soaked, and I try to answer her, even though my lungs feel completely empty. Couldn't reach. Couldn't reach? I pushed you into the pool earlier and you were fine. It might have been the shallow part, but... You can't swim? I lower my head embarrassedly and say nothing. You can't swim! Could you be any more useless? But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time.